So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good evening to one and all. Shall we start? All right, we have, I think, a good quorum to start this meeting. So, we at Mohan and Chandrasekhar Chartered Accountants Firm wish you a very good evening and a very hearty welcome to this program on the new provisions of TDS and TCS of the Income Tax Act that is coming into effect from 1st of July 2021. I'm sure you must be wondering, why are these guys calling us for a meeting now? We normally call for a meeting once in a year, particularly after the budget, to deliberate on the union budget. But why now? Why did we call you now? We have called you to remind you that gone are those days when finance bill was presented once in a year. Gone are those days when rules under various acts were subordinate to the act or did not override the act or the law. Gone are those days when notification circulars provided clarity to the act or rules. So gone are those days. Today, finance bill is introduced many times in a year. That is how you see Finance Act 1, Finance Act 2. I mean, you will not be surprised if you see many more finance acts in a year. Today, rules are no more subordinate to an act. They override the act. And taxpayers end up knocking at the doors of high courts and Supreme Court. Today, notifications and circulars confuses us more than providing clarity. And top of it, we have the press release and the tweets, which bother us on a daily basis. So, we have invited you to discuss very important provisions of the Income Tax Act that is coming into effect from 1st of July 2021 in respect of TDS and TCS, tax deducted at source and tax collected at source. Three important sections will be discussed: 194Q, 206AB, and 206CCA. Don't bother about the alphabets and numbers, we'll take care of it. But then don't be surprised if we invite you for more number of meetings in a year. And don't thank us for inviting you. Thank the Ministry of Finance, thank the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, who are all instrumental in adapting the so-called agile mode, even in their deliverables in the parliament. So, ladies and gentlemen, my partner Shobhan will talk to you in detail on what are these new provisions of TDS rules, TCS rules, and how do you go about complying with these new rules. What are the complaints, what are the forms, and so on and so forth. So he will take care of that. But before that, you should understand the background, how this new section 194Q was introduced. So the bureaucrat who was working on this budget proposals, who was in charge for drafting the budget proposals, he was working at home, obviously because of the COVID lockdown. And while he was working, he had the income tax book, the big income tax book besides him. So he had a 5-year-old kid. And as many of you who have been working at home for the last 1+ years would experience, and if you have a kid of 5 years or 10 years, you would have experienced that, how they take part in your work during your working hours. So likewise, the child of the bureaucrat, he sits next to the bureaucrat who's working on the proposal, and he happened to play around with the income tax book. So he opens the book and he lands up in a page where section 194A is seen. So the kid who's just 5 years old trying to learn English alphabets is curious because 194A is there. Then comes 194B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Mind you, these are all real provisions in the Act as far as 194 is concerned. So the kid is surprised and says, and could not find the alphabet after O. So it looks at his father and says, Papa, there is no alphabet after O in this book. So the bureaucrat who is drafting the proposal, he looks at his kid and says, Beta, don't worry, I'll put it there. And that is how, my dear friends, is the birth of the section 194P and 194Q. Okay, did I stretch too much on my imagination? Sorry, I could not find a better justification than this. Yeah, I can hear someone saying, what about the rest of the alphabets, R, S, T, U, V? Don't worry, they are all coming up in the next budget. And this is why I have no shy in stating that these newly introduced section 194P and 194Q are kiddish. Really, really kiddish. If anyone of you had participated in our last budget meeting held in March, I spoke of this section 194P and how kiddish it is. It is this section that says, senior citizens above 75 years don't have to file their returns in their income tax returns. Conditions apply, conditions apply, conditions apply. You would have heard of this multiple times in the media. Citizens after 75, more than 75 years don't have to file their returns. Conditions apply, conditions apply, conditions apply. I am sure, rather I'm not sure, how many citizens alive in this country can make use of this facility. It was the most hyped section in the last budget, most hyped, exaggerated scheme in the last budget. I will not be surprised if it turns out to be the least used facility in the Income Tax Act. The life expectancy in this country is 74 years, and they have brought in a provision for people who are more than 75 years of age, and that too with so many conditions applying. And these sections 194P or 194Q that will be deliberated much in detail, they are all kiddish in my opinion, but they are definitely not child's play. They are definitely not a child's play. It is in fact not even an expert's play. Most of the experts are even confused of these sections. But with all that said, I only fail to understand one thing. If these very educated people in charge of drafting these laws, why don't they appreciate the 80-20 rule? I'm sure in whatever stream of education you had, you would have read this beautiful concept of 80-20 rule. Take care of the top 20, take care of the top 20% of the problem or issues, and that will result in 80% benefits. To repeat, take care of top 20%, reap 80% benefits. That is a very accepted and well-tested rule, and everyone would have been of us are aware of it. On the other hand, I see so much effort by our government after government to tackle petty issues. Look at the objective of this TDS and TCS. The objective claims to ensure that no revenue escapes the eyes of the taxman. But do they really realize how cumbersome these issues are? How do they really realize the cost of complaints of these provisions? They make the taxpayer spend 80% of their efforts to address these complaints as requirement, making them extremely difficult to address the core issues of business. But then, do you really have a choice? Do you have a choice? Do you really have a choice? If you are married, you have kids, then you have to play the game of the kids. So let's start the game. Remember, you need to take care of the child. Ensure that you provide the child with all that you need to do at the right time and right way. If not, you'll have to pay later. Similarly, take care of these TDS and TCS provisions with care so that you don't have to end up paying later by means of fines and penalties. So we have here Shobhan, our partner Shobhan, to discuss the serious provisions of TDS and TCS. He will walk you through, and I will let him take over. Before I go, whatever I just said is purely my opinion in my individual capacity, and is in no way representative of my firm or my partner's opinion. So with this disclaimer, I thank you all for being here, spending your valuable time. Please relax and enjoy the session. Thank you. Over to you, Shobhan.
Yeah, I think he will join. He's just joining.
No, I saw him.
He's came and then when he's coming. I think he's just joining. So till the time, if you want to throw something, you can throw some light. I think 1 minute he'll join back.
Oh, so most of us are in the dark after the introduction of these provisions. And I think, I think Shobhan has joined.
Join?
No, it's somebody else.
No, I think you told so much about the provision, the speaker himself ran away.
In fact, I did not talk about the provision at all. I only spoke how
they are
making the provision very cumbersome. Shobhan, over to you, Shobhan.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, I got a disconnection, so it's made me to again relog in. Sorry for the delay. I'll share the screen, sir.
Yes, you can. Yeah, it's visible.
Yes. Okay, sir.
Yeah, we can see you. See your slide.
Okay. So today we are going to see 3 different parts. The first provision is regarding TDS provision. Next provision is regarding the non-filers direction or TCS, and how to practically approach the subject on non-filers. So those are the areas now we are going to see. To start with, we will discuss on the topic.
Shobhan, when you're talking, I think whatever you're talking, it's coming as text.
I don't know. Stop it.
Hey,
okay.
Shobhan, if you have enabled that, what is that, subtitles, switch it off.
Where is the subtitles?
I have switched over. I think
Yeah. Now it's okay.
Okay. So now we will be starting with the section 194Q. When this section is applicable, this is applicable from 1st July 2021. And what is this provision? This is regarding tax deducted at source. it is in the nature of advance tax paid by the seller of the goods. So this is the background. Seller of the goods is paying advance tax. In that mechanism, this is drafted. So whom this provision is applicable? So when the buyer of the goods procuring material from a resident seller for a value exceeding 50 lakhs in any previous year, at the time of credit or payment, whichever is earlier, at equal to 0.1% of the amount exceeding 50 lakhs. So this is what it said, and it covers buyer. Now, who is called buyer? Buyer is a person whose sales, gross receipts or turnover from the business exceeding 10 crore in the preceding financial year to the previous year when the goods is going to be purchased. So it says preceding previous year. If current year is the previous year, what you are going to see on the goods purchase, you have to see the preceding previous year. So preceding previous year, the turnover exceeds 10 crore. So he is a person called buyer. And who is called seller? And seller has to be a resident. And due to the Finance Act 2020 amendment, resident, not ordinary resident, also be brought into the ambit of resident. So non-resident sellers are not covered under this provision. What are the goods? The goods includes two goods. One is capital goods, another one is revenue goods. For the both the goods, this section of 194Q is applicable. Exemption value, as I said already, the purchase value of 50 lakhs per supplier is available as exemption. And one more question will be arised, whether this 50 lakh exemption is given is a one-time exemption or it is yearly exemption. If you read the law, it says 50 lakhs. Interpretation goes with 50 lakhs per year every time you get. It is not a one time. Every year, every supplier is getting 50 lakh exemption from the purchase of goods. And what is the TDS rate? The TDS rate is 0.1% on the value of purchase exceeding 50 lakhs. So it is 0.1%. So up to 50 lakh exemption. Over and above 50 lakhs, 0.1%. Now, one tricky question comes when at the time of purchase, GST is paid. Whether the GST is included for TDS under section 194Q. Now, we have a circular under previous law, and that when service tax was there, it said service tax is not to be part of TDS. When GST come, they said the word GST is replacing service tax for the supply of service. Now, regarding the goods, there is no clarification available. So, purchase of goods by literal interpretation or literal based on the circular earlier, we can assume that since it is saying value of purchase, we can consider the value excluding GST. But we want to have a clarification on that. It is only after clarification it will be very clear whether the GST is to be included in the value of purchase or not. It is to be, we have to wait for the department to clarify on this point. Next, when the TDS has to be deducted. The TDS has to be deducted at the time of payment or credit, whichever is earlier. This provision is very same to all the TDS section. What it said, the same wording has been used regarding this. So it is at the time of payment or credit, whichever is earlier. Okay. Now, what is the duty of the buyer? Buyer has to obtain the PAN of the seller, because buyer has to deduct TDS. So he has to get the PAN of the seller, and he has to do compliance check for 206 AB that we will see later. and he has to deduct the tax at the applicable rate. So in this section, it says 0.1%, and whatever is deducted, it has to be remitted to the government, and return has to be filed, and TDS certificate has to be issued. So this is what the buyer has to do. And let me have I have a 4 to 5 illustration. So I expect you also to reply for that. So now illustration 1, if the value of the goods up to 1st July 2021, it's 2021, it is 1st July 2021, from person Ram and Co, it is 20 lakhs, and value of the purchase of goods after 1st July 2021 from Ram and Co is 60 lakhs, and the previous year turnover is 11 crore. Is amount on which TDS is applicable? Can anyone try? Amount on which TDS is applicable. How you will calculate? So it law says is 50 lakhs. So 50 lakhs means already 20 lakh. It is also to be taken into consideration. 60 lakhs, totally 80 lakhs. So 80 lakhs minus 50 lakhs. 30 lakhs is the value on which TDS has to be considered. The next example, say before 1st July, it is 90 lakhs is purchased. After 1st July, 20 lakh is purchased. Now, what is the TDS? On what amount TDS has to be done? If you think, even before the provision of law coming to force, 90 lakhs sales has been done. So when the 90 lakh sales is done, there were no TDS provision. So law says remove that value. And what is the value after the provision came? 20 lakh. The entire 20 lakh is now liable for TDS. Next illustration. Before 1st July, it is 35 lakhs. After 1st July, no purchase was being made. In this, any TDS obligation. So the whole period, it doesn't exceed 50 lakhs. So then nil TDS. And next one is the purchase of goods before July, it is nil. After July, 45 lakhs. So same 50 lakh exemption is available. So here also nil TDS. And now before July, it is nil. After July, it is 90 lakhs. So now 50 lakh exemption will be given. So balance 40 lakhs on which TDS has to be done. So what will be the rate of TDS under section 194Q when PAN of the seller is not available? We want a PAN, but it is not available. The TDS rate is 5%. So normal provision, it says 20%, but in this case, there is a substitution of 5% instead of 20%. If PAN number is not available, TDS at 5%. What are the consequences of not deducting TDS? If TDS is not deducted, disallowance under section 40A IA will come into picture. 30% of the purchase value of the goods will be disallowed. Under section 40A 1A, once it is being paid, then only the purchase expense, the 30% what is disallowed will be allowed on a later stage. Okay, so now we have covered on the TDS under section 194Q. Now we will see on the non-filers. If there are non-filers, there are two sections are there, 206AB and 206 CCA. The implication of this section is that due to the non-filing, revenue of the government is falling down. They are thinking innovative measure so that number of filers will get increased. If the number of filers get increased, the revenue of the government also will be increased. That is the background this provision has been brought in. What is this called section 206 AB? From when it is applicable, the same thing, this 206 AB is applicable from 1st July 2021. What it says, any payment for expense made to a specified person, any payment made to a specified person, higher TDS rate. The section is very simple. Any payment made to a specified person, higher TDS rate. Okay, what is the highest TDS rate? TDS rate is determined by the section itself. Each and every TDS section will have a rate. The higher rate means twice the rate specified in the provision, twice the rates in force, or 5%, whichever is higher. So this is the higher rate. And first you should know who is called specified person. The specified person means who has not filed income tax return for the previous 2 preceding year, previous to the year in which tax is to be deducted, and the time limit of the filing return under section 139(1) is expired, and the TDS and TCS is 50,000 or more in 2 previous years. So the section says very simple, to return 2 previous year return is not filed. For an example, the current financial year that is running is 21-22 is the current financial year, previous 2 years. So you have, and one more condition is you have to select 2 previous year for which 139(1) time is expired. So if you select a financial year 2021, 139(1) is not expired, then what to do? You have to go still back. So it is 18, 19 and 19, 20 are the 2 previous year for which 139(1) is expired. So these 2 years, and one more thing, what this, in those 2 years, income tax return is not filed by a person, and one more thing, the TDS and TCS in the PAN number, that is 26 AS of the PAN assessee, is 50,000 or more. If these 2 conditions are satisfied, then only a person is called specified person. Why we are concentrating more on specified person? Because any payment made to specified person, higher tax, higher TDS. That's what it is said the section. So we should be very clear who are all called specified person. So, okay, higher TDS is deducted. What is the implication? The opposite person, the higher TDS will be reflected in his 26 AS, and he can file the return and he can take the tax credit while file the return. So there is no problem. The higher tax will be in his credit of the account, TDS account, income tax credit. If payment made within the TDS exemption limit, see for an example, we know rent payment up to 2.4 lakh, no TDSs need to be deducted. Suppose a person has paid a rent 1,80,000. 194I itself not applicable. When 194I itself not applicable, 206AB also not applicable. 206AB will come into picture only when the TDS provisions are applicable, and TDS provision says deducted tax. When TDS provision itself says no TDS to be deducted, 206AB will not come. So when section 206AB is applicable in case of non-resident not having T in India. So specified person, if you read the section, it specifically excludes non-resident not having permanent establishment in India. So payment for which 206AB is not applicable. So these are the payments that is being mentioned for which the higher rate is not applicable. One is salary. So section 192, 206 AB is not applicable. So we need not get any declaration, or the PAN verification of the employees need not be done, because section specifically excludes, and premature withdrawal of EPF, it also excludes, and winning from lottery, I think already their higher rate, one more higher rate may not be possible, and winning from horse, they are also higher rate. Income in respect of investment of securitizations, they are also in higher rate. And one more thing, 194N, which is cash withdrawal. So that is also TDS on cash withdrawal. So those sections are excluded by 206 AB specifically. If PAN is not furnished, okay, 206 AB says higher rate when return is not filed. So particular person not at all giving the return and not at all furnishing the PAN number also. So what is the implication? See, when PAN number is not there, 206 AA comes. So 206 AA, we already know 20% is the maximum rate tax TDS has to be mentioned. So you have to see when PAN number is not mentioned, TDS rate as per 206 AA or TDS rate as per 206 AB, whichever is higher has to be directed as a TDS. Okay, I am bringing some scenarios. The scenario is first one, applicable. In the first year, ITR is filed. The second year, ITR is not filed, and TDS in the first year is exceeding 50,000. In second year, TDS is less than 50,000. So one fundamental I want to say, it's a twin condition that is being said is return not filed for 2 years, and TDS is 50,000 or more in those 2 years. So when it comes to IT return, 2 years not filed. When it comes to TDS and TCS credit, 50,000 or more for 2 years. If you see the ITR, one is yes, another one is no. So one is, since he filed in 1 year, IT return is filed, 206 AB is not applicable. Next one, ITR is filed in previous year 1, ITR filed in previous year 2, and TDS is less than 50,000, and next is previous year 2, TDS is greater than or equal to 50,000. So what is the condition? So he should not file return for 2 years. So he has filed return here. So 206 AB is not applicable. Next scenario, ITR filed in previous year 1, ITR filed in previous year 2, and TDS is less than 50,000 in previous year 1, and TDS is less than 50,000 in previous year 2. Since ITR is filed for 2 years, no applicability of 206 AB is not there. It is not applicable. Okay. Next scenario is in previous year, first year, ITR not filed. Next year, ITR is filed. And in the first year, TDS and TCS credit is exceeding 50,000. In the next year, TDS and TCS is less than 50,000. The 206 AB is applicable only when 2 financial year IT return is not filed. But in this case, first year he missed, but next year he filed. So 1 year it is filed. Since 1 year is filed, 206 AB is not applicable. And the last situation, in the previous year 1, ITR not filed. In previous year 2, ITR not filed. Both are not filed. ITR not at all filed. When it comes to TDS, TDS in the first year is exceeding 50,000. In the next year, less than 50,000. If you see here, in the TDS, it is less than 50,000 in year 2. Since TDS is less than 50,000 year 2, 206 AB is not applicable, even though 2 ITR is not filed. So the condition you have to see is ITR and the TDS, they should go together. You should not only see the ITR, you have to see ITR plus TDS and TCS credit in the previous financial year. And in the last situation, so ITR for the previous year 1, not filed, previous year 2, not filed, TDS exceeding 50,000 and TDS in year 1 and year 2 also, it is exceeding 50,000. So it is a clear case where the condition is satisfying. What is the condition? 206 AB says 2 previous year ITR not filed and TDS and TCS is 50,000 or more in those 2 years. Since it is the ITR condition also satisfied, TDS also satisfied, 206 AB comes into picture. Then 206 AB comes into picture, he is called a specified person. He is called a specified person. Any payment made to a specified person, higher TDS. So this is how the scenario we are having. And next scenario, what we will be seeing is 206 CCA. 206 CCA is very similar to TDS of 206 AB. 206 AB is for TDS and 206 CCA is for TCS. It is applicable from 1st July 2021. What it says? Any amount received from a specified person. 206 AB says any amount paid to a specified person. 206 CCA says any amount received from a specified person. So both the cases, specified person definition not changed. Both the section specified person meaning is same. What is the meaning? The person has not filed income tax return for the previous 2 years preceding the year of TDS or TCS, and where the ITR due date under section 139(1) is expired, and where the TDS and TCS credit is 50,000 or more in those 2 years, this condition. So specified person condition is same for 206 AB and 206 CCA. Now, what is the higher rate specified here? The higher rate specified here is twice the rate as specified in the provision on the act, or 5%, whichever is higher. So this was the rate that is being. So now we have a lot of TCS provision. The respective provision will have respective rates. So what is the conclusion? That what is the rate set in a provision into 2? That will be twice the rate, or 5%, whichever is higher. So these are the things that we have for TDS and TCS that we have. Now one more important question I come: how to verify whether a person is a specified person or not. It is really a difficult task, and it takes a lot of time consuming. So, but recently government came with the circular, and government has made a mechanism. What mechanism? They said you can verify the compliance check. If you give a PAN number of a person, government will say whether a person is a specified person or not. So it is very before this compliance check procedure, we were going through a declaration method. When compliance procedure is in place, declaration method not to be followed, because it is only time consuming and paper consuming, but no purpose at all. Because still more easier way government gave. What way? And this system is keep on updating. So take for an example, now current year is financial year 2021 is going on. What system has done? At the beginning of the financial year, it itself recorded the previous 2 years, 18, 19 and 19, 20. It recorded the database, and it will calculate whether the person has filed a return or whether the person is having TDS and TCS exceeding 50,000, it will give us a data. What is it? Now with this data, what we will do? If it says specified person, we can follow higher rate. If it says not a specified person, follow the normal rate. Okay, take an example that current year is started. You are verifying 1,000 records. 1,000 records you are verifying. Out of 1,000 records, you found for 10 records are specified person. Balance 990% are not a specified person. We need to concentrate only on specified person. When 990 people are not specified, so they will go under normal rate. Why we want to concentrate only on 10%? Because current financial year due date is there. The current financial year due date may be complete. If it is earlier, it was July and September or October. So within the due date, if a person is filing the return for the 2021, he will move out of specified person. That opportunity is there. So with a concentration only on the specified person, if a specified person filed the IT return of the current last previous year, there is a possibility they will move out of specified person and become and not a specified person. So that is that for that mechanism, government has given a compliance check that we will see a live example. We will show you how to log in with the TAN number and how to proceed. So, Kuti sir, shall I show that a live procedure, Kuti sir?
Yeah, you can show and then we can take the question answers.
Yes, sir. Can you see the screen, sir?
Yes, we can.
See, first of all, we have to go to income tax portal. In that, login is there. In that login, every tax deductor is having a number. You have to fill the user ID password. Okay, now I have logged in into a client and it is in a TAN login, TDS login. And there is a place called pending action. That you have to click reporting portal. And it will go to the different portal, reportinsight.gov.in. There it will ask new registration. You have to click new registration and give continue. And form type, it will ask compliance check. It will ask, and since it is a company, it is automatically entity category is filled up. And you give next, and now you have to give the details of the address of the client, that is company. So once you give the address of the company, you click add principal officer. It will go to the next place and we have to give the data related to principal officer of that company. Once I give the PAN number, system itself will fill every name and everything. And it even fill the address also. Once you have filled everything, give submit. Now things are submitted and acknowledgement of the PDF is available. So whatever is submitted, it will get reflected. So that first we filled the company detail, it is get reflecting, and the principal officer detail is reflecting. Now what it will happen, literally speaking, a mail will go to the principal officer saying your request is approved. As soon as you get that mail, you will see user ID password of the PAN of the principal officer. So PAN of the principal officer will be going to be the login ID and password will be sent to the principal officer. Now we have already created an user ID password and it's gone to my mail ID. From that mail ID, from this site is the portal where you have to go, reportinsight.gov.in. So whatever user ID and password coming to your mail ID has to be logged in here, reportinsight.gov.in. You have to click on login and the PAN of the principal officer will be the user ID, PAN of the principal officer. And first time password, what is given there, you have to enter and click OK. It will ask you to update the password. Once this password is updated, a new password is created. After that, you give login. And this is the next page it will go. And form type, you have to click on compliance check. And then you have to click this and you click on proceed. An authorized person is a principal officer and you click on proceed. Now we are in the login of the principal officer. And in the left corner, if you see, there is a compliance check section 206 AB and 206 CCA. If you click on this section, you'll go to this page where you can search a PAN number, whether they are specified person or not. Suppose, for example, I will type my PAN number, for example. So I give a search and it gives me a data. What it gives, my name, when was PAN allotted, and whether my PAN is linked with Aadhaar, and I am a specified person or not. So if it says I am not a specified person, 206 AB is not applicable. So higher rate of TDS is not applicable. So now another option also what government is giving is bulk upload. Another option what government is giving is bulk upload. There is a space called download CSV file. And if you see the CSV file, I have already downloaded. This is the CSV file that is downloaded, and it is asking only one area. It is asking only one area PAN. Beyond that, it is asking nothing. If you have 1,000 people PAN number to whom you want to verify, you can type their PAN number continuously. You can type your PAN number continuously. And then what you have to do is now after going here, there is a column called upload CSV file. You go here, it will ask, and it will ask you to choose the file. And once a CSV file is chosen, and I can give submit. As soon as I give submit, the word uploaded will be reflected. And now how things are happening is we have to wait for a half an hour or 1 hour. The word uploaded is changed to available in a hyperlink. After that, if you click on that available, you will get a report. And I'll share the report. And this is the report you'll be getting. If you have 1,000 people PAN number, every people PAN number is returned, name is given, Aadhaar linked with PAN or not is given, the person is a specified person or not. See, the complaint check procedure given by government is such a simple one, and it is a very easy to follow. And there is a circular given by government. What it says, if 1,000 people are there, 10,000 people are there, 5 people are specified people, balance 9,995 people are not specified people. Don't concentrate on the non-specified people. Concentrate only on the specified people. If the specified people file the current assessment yet returned, they will be moving to non-specified people. So non-specified people need to be concentrated yearly once only. That too at the beginning of the financial year. So this year we started, we are generating this report. Once you generate this report for non-specified people, you don't worry. This report is sufficient. It is an evidence. It says not specified. As per this report, TDS can be complied. As for the next financial beginning, one more exercise you have to do. So every year, yearly only once you have to do this exercise of whether they are specified or not specified. And our concentration should be only on the specified people, because there are a lot of possibility that the current year return is filed, specified people will be converted to non-specified people. So specified people alone, if we concentrate, things will be fine. So now this is how bulk search is done, and here it is the individual PAN data is done. Okay, so this is the how the practically how we see the compliance check. If we go by this method, we need not worry at all. declaration method need not be followed. A complaint check method following, we can complain easily. And thank you.
Yeah, you can stop the presentation.
Yes, sir.
One second. Yeah, so excellent, Soban. Such a complicated thing you told very simply. And most of the section starting you told it's very simple. It looks simple, but yeah, so I hope all the participants are clear or they are more confused, I don't know. But the provisions are such. The government is this all the work what we are doing of finding out whether the returns are filed. TDS is more than 50,000 rupees. This is all the work of the government actually. The government has given that work to us to check whether somebody has filed the returns or not. So that shows how efficient the government is. Because they are not efficient, they are telling us to do the work. So the days are not far off when one more rule may come, like Venki was telling P, Q, Z till Z is there. So one more section will be inserted where they'll say taxpayer has to come every 1 hour to the government office and clear some files. So those days also is not very far off. So all the government work they're giving to us. Nevertheless, I think we have taken in a very simple way. Only thing what we have to remember is 194Q. It is applicable only for the taxpayers who are having turnover more than 10 crores in the previous year. So it is not applicable for the small taxpayers. So it is basically for the taxpayers having 10 crores. So 194Q is applicable to them. But 206 AB and CCA, just keep in mind if TDS has to be deducted, ensure he has filed his return. So you need not worry whether 2 years, 1 year, so forget, remove from your head whether TDS is more than 50,000, income tax return filed or not. Just remove from the head. Just go to that portal, check whether he's a specified person or not. If he is a specified person, deduct more. If he's not a specified person, like Sopan was telling, 1st April 2021. Anyway, it is starting from 1st July 2021. So what you do is 1st July 2021, take the list of all the taxpayers, SSCs who are specified, not specified. Who are not specified, you need not bother for the whole year. You have to do that exercise only next year. Whoever are specified, keep on checking, because the circular says no, specified people, if they file the return, then automatically they come out from the specified to non-specified. So just keep that, and I'm 100% sure if you have got 1,000, only 5 or 10 will be there who are specified. Rest all will be non-specified. So it is not going to be that tedious. The provision looks so big, but it is not going to pinch you that much. So just it is one-time exercise. That is for 206 AB and 206 CCA. Sections also you need not remember. So this is only for academic purpose. Now the SSC is having turnover of more than 10 crores. In the previous year, they have to follow the TDS provision. There is last year a provision came for TCS, that is for 206 1H. So now here it is for the buyer, there it is for the seller, right? So you have to just keep in mind there is a confusion, there is a argument which is now both your buyer and seller are more than 10 crores and the transaction is more than 50 lakhs. So who deducts? Whether he deducts or he collects. So 194Q is superior, 206 1H is inferior, because 194Q itself gives an exemption if the TDS is already deducted or TCS is deducted, 194Q is not applicable subject to 206 1H. So if 194Q and 206 1H is applicable, 194Q is there, and anybody has deducted under 194Q, then 206 1H is not applicable. So that is what it is. And nowadays we can see a lot of customers and suppliers have started sending declarations. I want this declaration, I want that declaration. I think it is not at all required. at least for 206 AB, where you have to find out whether last 2 years returns. It's not required at all. Just do the compliance check and keep it for your record. Okay, I have checked and he is not a specified person. I am not deducted. So that is one thing. And one more thing is which Soman was telling, I want to ask him the question. Now 206 AB rate is 5%, whatever that rate in force or rate as per the act, or and 206 AA. So you told if PAN is not available, then 206, so 20%, whichever is higher. My question to you is, the condition is TDS 50,000 rupees should be there in your 26AS. So if your PAN itself is not there, how a TDS can come in your 26AS?
Actually, PAN is not furnished, I said. I didn't say PAN is.
Okay. It is furnished. So even though he's having a PAN, but it's not.
We are asking the suppliers or people to give PAN, they are not at all giving. It's not
So if
furnished.
206 AB also we require the PAN, right?
Yeah.
So, then you have, so you have to anyway get the PAN from him.
Yeah, but he is not supporting. 206 AA comes.
Okay.
If he asks, he gives, no problem, sir. Higher rate also, it is going to tax credit of him. He can use for his income tax filing. You can use the income tax credit. But if we asking them PAN and the person is not at all supporting, so 206 AA comes.
Okay, thank you. So I think now we are open for question and answer session. You can throw questions, whatever we can answer, we will answer, because yeah, sometimes this also is very confusing. So any questions? Actually, I've given the option of unmuting. If you want to ask, you can unmute and ask, and again mute yourself after the question. Any questions? I think Prakash Valecha had sent a message to me. Yeah, so it is 194 Q is applicable from 1/7/2021. No, TDS question it was. TDS, both are TDS, right? So if it is applicable from 1/7/2021, what happens from 1st April to 30th June? Whether we have to deduct for that period or from 1/7/2021. So
whatever turnover you had from 1st April to June is not deductible. Whatever turnover you have from 1st July is only deductible, but for the calculation of 50 lakhs, turnover is taken from 1st April.
No. See, hi, I'm Prakash speaking.
Yes, sir, please, sir.
Yeah, see, my question is, there is, in the scenario when already the turnover is more and the deduction is applicable from 1st July as a customer to a supplier. Now, if the billing is done from 1st April, which is 1st April to 30th of June, which is more than 50 lakhs, and the payment is being done by the supplier, or sorry, by the customer after July or after August, because generally there is a 60 days, 90 days cycle of the payment. So at that time, when they pay for the old bills, whether they will be, the customer, the payer will deduct the TDS, the buyer will deduct the TDS of those old bills also or not?
Actually, one thing to be clear is,
I hope my question is clear.
I am clear, sir. For June month invoice, for GST purpose, we have taken input for June itself. And TDS is attracting payment or credit, whichever is earlier. So for June month, I am taking invoice June itself. Payment may happen anytime. That is a different story. At the time of passing my journal entry, TDS provisions are not applicable.
What about material in transit? I am selling material from Hosur to Delhi and it takes 20 days to reach there. So my 25th June to 30th June invoices reaches there on 15th of July or July end, or material lost in transit and material is booked in August month. In those conditions, what is the applicability?
Date of invoice can be one method we can see. If date of invoice is before 30th June, we can consider as a purchase before 30th June.
Okay.
No, see,
I will also
one
answer,
second, Kuti. My question is, I am selling a part to X customer on 25th of June. As per the June protocol, as per the previous TCS regime, I am paying the TCS on my sales value 0.1%. Okay, when I file my monthly return. Now the customer gets the material in month of July, he gets the in July end, or he may get in August or September material lost in transit or whatever may be. Now he will deduct TDS on that bill where I have already paid TCS on his behalf in my June month's TCS return.
Okay.
I hope I'm clear.
Yes, sir. Now I got your point. So whatever TCS you have done now, sir, during the time whatever you did is valid, sir. That should be only done. And for those TCS provision can be the one method. Whatever bill after 1st July, the opposite person is going to deduct TDS. You can stop TCS process. Because when we said if the person is both of them are more than 10 crore, both are more than 10 crore turnover, 194Q overrides TCS under section 2061H. So now after 1st July, if that your customer is having turnover more than 10 crore, you can stop doing TCS provision, ask the customer to do TDS provision.
So that is after 1st July.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
question is my invoice on 25th June. Again, you are
Prakash,
not
Prakash,
At the 25th of June,
Yeah, Kuti, you
still
can.
is in TCS, sir.
Yeah. Soban, I will also explain. See, this is a transitional provision. So what happens is here, because TCS is already applicable from 1st October 2020, TDS is going to get applicable from 1/7/2021. So this is a transitional provision where he told goods have left in the regime where there is no TDS, but TCS is there. And it reaches the person where TDS provisions are also applicable. So one thing which I want to tell the viewers is very shortly in another 3-4 days or any time we are expecting a circular where there such confusions are going to be cleared by the department. So there is a circular which is going to come anytime. Yesterday the circular came on compliance. So another 1 or 2 days you can see a lot of circulars, maybe at least one circular clarifying all these FAQs will be there. But the expert opinions everywhere is wherever there is a transition provision and TCS is already collected, TDS provision will not be applicable. So this is the same thing which is going to come in a circular also, which is going to be clarified, though the act and the section doesn't mention anything about this. But since the tax was collected in the previous regime, the main thing all this thing is there is because of mapping. They want to map the transactions. So since this transaction is already mapped, TDS provision will not be applicable. TDS provision will be applicable only for the payments made from 1/7/2021. If for those payment TCS for the previous thing was collected, then TDS is not applicable. So this is going to be the view. Even the experts are having the view. So, but let us wait for the circular for this clarification.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question?
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said that this payment received or payment done to the specified person that you have to charge 5% or twice the rate, right? So what happens if that person is specified and the payment received or payment done is between April to June now, like June 30th?
Payment is already made, you say?
Yes. Or payment has been received from a specified person.
Actually, ma'am, when payment is made, there is no concept of specified person. Here, the section itself not there, then nothing.
No. What she meant was, since again the same question. So it's 1/7/2021 is again this section is going to get implemented. What happens if he's a specified person? Payment is made from April to June. Deepika, I am right if I think the question. So if already from April to June, the payment is made, but 206 AB is applicable from 1st July. So whether TDS has to be higher rate? No, need not be deducted because payment is already done, and any payment done after 1/7/2021 only it will be applicable, not before that.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
So one more doubt.
Yeah,
Sir,
two
this is
doubts also you
Bhaskar.
can ask Bhaskar.
Yeah. Sir, if he says PAN is not provided or not applicable, specified rate is 20% as per the TDS law. So if you 206 AA applicable, then we double the rate, means 40% we have to deduct.
Actually,
In that
law
So
says,
many-
yeah, I'll explain. Actually, sir, 206 AA is separate, sir, and 206
Yeah.
B separate. You have to calculate rate independently each and every section. So as per 206 AA, when PAN is not there, 20% that you keep separately. Now come to 206 AB. What says the concerned person has not filed ID return, and he's a contractor, and the specified the rate is only 1% or 2%. Consider 2%. The double the rate becomes 4%. So now 206 AB says 4% or 5%, whichever is higher. So 206 AB says 5%. 206 AA says 20%. You have to select whichever is higher. Still 20 is the higher. So 206 AA rate you take.
Maximum
Yeah.
rate is 20%.
See what
Yes, sir.
happens, no, Bhaskar. See, there are three things which you have to keep in mind. One is whatever rate mentioned in the Act. So there are two types. See, some rates as per TDS is mentioned in the Act. Like contract, it is mentioned in the Act 194C itself. Whereas there are some sections which the rates are not mentioned in the Act. It always comes through Finance Act. So maybe it is salary, or there are so many sections which the Finance Act will give the rates. So that is the rate in force. So one is the rate as per the Act, one is the rate as per the rate in force. So any rate double to that rate or 5%, whichever is highest. Now, this is the case where there is PAN available, this rates. If PAN is not available, you have to go to the other section also, and 20% also you have to attach. So that this 3 plus 20%, so whichever is higher. So it not be 20% double. So the fourth condition of 20% also if PAN is not available. I think, am I right, Sobat?
Yes, sir. Now the 20% or here we have 5% is higher. Whichever is higher, we will be selected.
See, technically, other than salary cases, we will not have a situation where the percentage will be more than 20, because highest TDS rate specified in the Act is 10%. So the double that itself will become only 20%. And going by the section also is 20%. So maximum will be 20%. However, if it is a case of a specified person in the case of salary income,
I think it is not specified person.
anyway, salary income is not covered, not coming under this section. So that also we don't have to worry.
Yeah.
So at the maximum, everywhere it will be only 20%. It will be the maximum rate at which you will have to deduct TDS if even they are failing to comply with these provisions.
Okay, sir. So minimum is 5% and maximum is 20% in that section.
No. Yeah, possible.
Minimum will be the 5%.
Minimum
And maximum is 20%, whichever is it. Okay.
Any other question? So that means the Act is very clear. Everybody is totally clear. No chance.
People have to figure out what question they have to ask. First of all, they have to understand that. Actually, it is really, it's not TDS, it is TDS.
I know. See, now what is happening is to map. Now, see what I don't understand. Like Venki told, this is a very childish section because TDS is already lying in 26 years. See, when TDS is lying, the main intention of the government in this section was TDS is lying, they are not filing returns. So if you tax more, then you will file returns. If the TDS is already there, PAN is there, it's government's duty to catch him and find why he is not filing returns. Now, even if 2% becomes 5%, what is the guarantee? You are just adding on the TDS amount in the 26 years. You are not still inducing him to file. So there is I don't know who is advising government.
Actually,
and
Kuti sir, I have a different opinion on this. Now we to actually when government is need to follow, government only know who has not filed. When this provision came, where customer know, supplier know, it will be embarrassing for a person to say I have not filed when he earns income. So it will be embarrassing situation. He will voluntarily come to file return to avoid embarrassing before the fellow members.
Sir, I have a different opinion what you said here. This provision is for whom? For companies or for individuals who are doing turnover of 10 crore and above.
Correct.
Am I right?
Correct. Sir.
Are you saying there are people who are doing 10 crore turnover in white and not filing income tax return?
No, you have misunderstood, sir.
No.
Actually, the person who is having 10 crore and above, he is verifying the PAN number of his suppliers. There will be a small supplier. He may be regularly supplying. He may not file the return at all. Now, when company knows your supplier is not filing, you will be asking them why you have not filed return. It will be embarrassing for your supplier.
That is two
No, but
things
this-
actually.
no,
That's
no,
10
one-
crores, Prakash.
Yeah.
10 crores is only applicable for 194Q for TDS on goods of
Mhm.
50
Both
lakhs and above.
applicable. Actually, sir, if you read the section, 194Q and 206 AB also possible.
The 206 AB is applicable for all the TDS deductions, not only for
Yes,
if your turnover
yes,
is more than
yes.
10 crores. It is
All the
applicable
TDS.
for all the TDS
Yeah, all
deductions.
of it.
So are you saying that we have to send to this letter to all the suppliers who are even doing
No.
50,000 or
That's what-
5 lakh business in a year with us?
No, Prakash. Now see, that's what I'm telling you. You need not do, because see now what is happening is already people are ready to file an affidavit in Supreme Court telling it's a privacy. My data of not filing return, why I should share with somebody. So what government has done is you did not collect any information from anybody. You have to just go to that compliance window and see whether he's specified person or not, whether he has filed, not filed, all. You need not bother. You have to just go to that. If you have got 100 vendors, put the 100 vendors in that list PAN number. It will tell which is specified, which is not specified. Whoever is specified, deduct more. Non-specified, deduct normal. You did not send any mail to anybody. No contact with anybody. Yes, if he's a specified person, you can tell him, intimate him, you are a specified person, I am deducting more. That as a relationship, you can do it. Otherwise, that also is not required.
No, but what I was told, sir, sorry to interrupt. What I was told, sir, basically this would be applicable if the specified person, this thing will come when the turnover is more than 50 lakhs or above with that particular case.
No.
So even if you say, Kuti, if the turnover is 5 lakhs with a supplier in a year or less than 5 lakhs, so we have to deduct his TDS?
No. See, again, we are missing 2-3 things, Prakash. One is this 206 AB, that is non-filers, it is applicable for the deductors who now they deduct TDS, like tax audit cases, companies. So they have to deduct. See, it's not cases where the turnover is less than 2 crores or 1 crore companies. For them, it is not applicable because they don't deduct TDS. What we are talking about is for the SSEs who deduct TDS now. So in the normal situation, you deduct TDS. So in that TDS now, you have to ensure the person for whom the TDS is deducted is a specified person or not. That's all. You need not now deduct TDS for small people. If you are generally, as per the provisions, if you are deducting TDS, ensure whether is specified or not. Specified deduct more, non-specified deduct normal. That's all. You need not do anything extra. And 10 crores and above is not is applicable only for that TDS on goods and TCS on goods only. Otherwise, 10 crores is not applicable for this section. This is applicable for all the SSEs who deduct TDS.
Fine. Got it.
And one more thing. For a section specified person, if you are deducting under section 2, that section, then while filing, we have to show the same section there. Correct? No?
No, which one?
If some person is a specified person and we are deducting at a specified rate under 206 AB, then while filing the quarterly return, in the return we have to show us under which section we deducted, 194C or 206A or AB. That's
See
10.
now
206A.
206A, yeah, 206A, how you show?
Now if we are deducting at 194C and will show as 194C only. If the person is specified person, then which section we have to show there?
Soman, same section.
You got
Same
my
section,
point.
only same section you will show, but you will deduct at higher rate. You will show that higher rate.
Now see,
I-
if you now 206AA is there, how you
Yeah.
select? You have 194C and down there is such option whether he's means he's having that higher rate 20%. You select that 20% comes. Like that only now the option will come whether he's a specified person. Yes, no. Yes means automatically higher rate will be taken. So that softwares will come. Government is good in softwares
Okay.
now.
Okay, maybe it may gone for not posting the 26 years. They are maybe introducing that one like B2C.
Yeah, this will come in 26 years anyway. As normal 194J, 194C, like that only.
Like that only. Even though
If
if it is
PAN
not
is
filed,
not furnished, if PAN is not furnished, it won't come, sir. If
yeah,
it's furnished, higher rate, TCS, income tax credit you get.
if PAN is furnished also, but he is a specified person,
He can
then
take
we have to show same section only.
same section, same section.
Okay.
And the person
Okay.
can take credit of that TDS also, TDS or TCS. That person to whom it belongs, he can take credit of it while he is adjusting it against his payment, tax payments.
That's what. So he has to file returns. No, that's what government wants.
Okay.
So if any other question, otherwise, let's hope. I think circular will come. There are a lot of clarifications, like in 206 1H, where the tax collection was there. A lot of circulars came, FAQs came 2, 3, 4 days before. This also will come. And since this is starting in between the year, there will be confusions like transition provisions and all those things. But I think that will be sorted out, and this is going to be permanent. So let us not cry about it. I think we have to live with it. So just ensure you are not missing. See, why this seminar I told it's very important is we should not miss deducting more. If you miss deducting more, the expenses, like he told, will get disallowed to the extent of 30%. So it is going to be big. Suppose if it is purchased as 194Q, you miss, or even 206AB also, if it's big amount, it is going to cost you heavily. So don't miss these provisions. Keep in mind, TDS whenever is there, this behind your mind, TDS means whether he has filed or not. Please check.
Kuti,
Yeah.
yeah, Santosh here. See,
Ah.
there are for this 194Q, there are 4 criteria that I noticed. One is minimum turnover of 10 crore per annum in the previous financial years. Second criteria is a turnover of 50 lakhs in this current financial year with the party where the TDS is applicable. Third criteria is non-filing of income tax returns in the previous 2 financial years.
No.
See,
That is
because all
different,
of them are getting interlinked one after the other.
I know. So let us keep, that's why I told, let us keep these two things separate. So 194Q for goods, it is applicable only if your turnover is 10 crores and 50 lakhs.
206AB also is applicable here, no?
So 206AB will be applicable if he is a non-filer.
Hmm.
It's interlinked, yeah, you can say. Yeah, so it may be interlinked if he's not filed his return, and the same case TDS 0.1%. If he has not filed his return, definitely, yeah. It may
See,
be
because when we were talking of specified persons list, there were only 2 criteria which we took into consideration.
Yeah.
There is non-filing of
Possibility.
returns and higher rate of TDS greater than 50,000 rupees. But for
Possibilities
those
there.
2 to become applicable, the first 2 conditions of 50 lakh in the current financial year and 10 crore in the previous years has to be applicable. Only then the question of specified person comes, correct?
Correct.
No, actually,
So if
specified person will come for all the TDS section. Even if you pay no, sir. And landlord is not filing return. So higher rate. And at 206AB applies for rent, commission, contract, what interest, whatever TDS sections you have, no?
Immovable property?
That's what he said.
Full property, yes, it will come, sir.
It will come.
It will come. So yeah, I
now
think.
you confuse me actually.
Why?
Actually,
So for anybody where we are deducting TDS, we have to check whether he's
yes, sir.
Yes,
206
specified.
AB. is
Irrespective of what our turnover is with him and what is their this
Correct,
one,
sir.
we'll have to check up.
exactly.
Correct.
So
Exactly.
even for schools and colleges are there. They are charitable entity. They are not they don't want to pay income tax, but they pay contract, they pay professional charges. They have to see whether the TDS is compliant. They have to get their suppliers data and they have to see the same rate or higher rate. So irrespective of business or not, 206 AB has to be seen.
Yeah, see, that's what. Yeah. So let us make it very simple. Is there are 3 compartments. One is see, if you are paying TDS, if you are liable to pay deduct TDS for a person, ensure the other person is not a specified person, specified rateable. So that is one applicable to all the people who are deducting TDS. Second bucket is on TDS if you purchase goods. So if you purchase goods, your turnover should be more than 10 crores in the previous year. You should have purchased more than 50 lakhs during the year, deduct 0.1%. So that is for TDS. And second is, suppose your turnover is below 10 crores, you need not bother. Then the seller, the person who is selling, because you have not deducted, he will do a TCS. So these 3 buckets are there. So just keep in mind, TDS applicable if you are a TDS deductor. See if your other person is a specified, non-specified. If your turnover is more than 10 crores in the previous year, then even for the goods more than 50 lakhs in a year, you have to deduct 1%. So that is for TDS. TCS, only one provision is available. So 3 buckets.
Yeah, one question may not be very good, but I'll still ask because it's there in my mind. Now, we say that if the person is specified and then we have to deduct TDS at a higher rate, correct?
Yes.
What if we are not doing, we are deducting only at 0.1%? So what is that liability will come on us? Is there any issue while assessment or quarterly filing will happen or something like that?
You will be considered as assessee in default for the shortfall of pay.
Okay. Because he's a specified party and we have not considered that.
The government will consider you have deducted at lower rate than the actual.
Okay, fine. And then what is the liability, the difference in that cost plus will be there, or how exactly it works?
Actually, really speaking, if disallowance also possible, the government can push it on that also. You can say it's deducted. Government will say what is to be deducted, you have not deducted, which is equal to non-deducted.
Okay. So that means
prosecution also possible.
So that means we should have a check sheet and a record that we have verified this person is not coming under the specified person, and according to that we have done. So every quarter or every year we have to take that input and keep with us.
It can be done yearly once at the beginning of the year. After that we can leave it. Whatever you data take at the beginning of the year, that is valid for 1 year.
Because a lot of time it happens when we have small suppliers and those suppliers are not very good in compliance, and we also still want to retain them as a supplier and do business. So if we tell them I will deduct 5% TDS or 20%, he'll run away, or I have to pay from my pocket and pay his TDS also.
Actually, now wonderful idea is, sir, whomever you got specified person list, now July is going to start. Ask them to file the return immediately, so they will come out of the specified person.
No, one more thing is Prakash ji. See, what you need to do is first in the beginning of the year you will have to check who are all your specified person and non-specified person. If they come and if they don't fall under specified person category, you don't have to worry about them for the rest of the year.
Correct.
So you deduct the normal rate of tax. However, if there are some specified people, but you still want to continue your business, you want to be good to them, before you transact, before you make a payment, every payment, you check whether they have come out of specified person or they are still continuing to be part of specified person. If they are specified person, continue to deduct at a higher rate. if they come out of specified person, because if they have filed their return, they come out of the specified person category,
Correct.
you can go back to the normal rate.
Right, sir. Thank you.
I think we can, yeah, Kamlesh?
Yeah, actually, what will be the in case of any new PAN number is allotted and the return was not applicable on them. So particular these sections should not be applicable, no?
Actually, if you see 216 AB condition, at 50,000 also is for a person who don't have a PAN number and fresh PAN number, there will be no TDS at all, which is equal to TDS is less than 50,000. He will not be a specified person.
See, the condition is not only non-filing, even the
Return.
TDS also should be more than 50,000. TDS and TCS combined should be more than 50,000. So
Both conditions, correct. Yeah,
Yes.
got it. Okay, thank you.
government also is very intelligent.
Yes.
Look at the dichotomy. I tell one version and you are telling other version. I am telling it's a kiddish thing and you are saying they are intelligent.
We have to support sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think no more questions. So we can close the session. Thank you, Soban. I think it was a wonderful session and hope the participants had some knowledge about it and we could clear few doubts. Though still it is in the initial stage of these sections. More complications will come out, more clarity will come out. So we may have more sessions or maybe some newsletter or something which we can give some clarity. So anyway, thanks Venki for taking this initial session and then Soban for wonderfully beautiful PPT which you prepared. This session will be available in our YouTube channel. So you can watch that and if any doubt is there, you are free to call us. Thank you very much. God bless you. Be safe.
Thanks to all.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks.